Alright, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, so, this is part 2 of the PAP M92 Warp Speed Edition Trunnion Head approved. Alright, so I was discussing before I got cut off in part 1. This is part 2. I have a J&G Cells cone booster, and it's good. You know, I could definitely tell it, like the recoil and everything is very nice. I was astonished that the recoil was so light. I believe this is some kind of a booster, but every third flash, I guess it collects in there. It'll spit some flame out. So supposedly this is a booster to keep it reliable on full auto when it gets filthy. So I've seen pictures of entire, I guess, African militia platoons, African units with M92s actually, and a few would have, of course, Dragonovs and PKMs. But so supposedly the velocity difference from the 10-inch barrel to the 16 is very small somehow. But I will tell you one thing about this booster is that it'll kick up dust when you're shooting in a standing, at least in the desert, of course. But I'm sure every gun will do that, but this one will definitely do it more than others. So I mentioned the EOTech. I got the OpMod EXPS2. It sits very good for me with my neck issues, and I love it. I would like to add a Picatinny rail section right here. That way it could be off the hot ass areas. That's something I might pay someone to do, because I sure as hell should not do anything like that because I will screw it up. Now I did get a crappy pistol grip, so I swapped that out. So it has a longer screw. I love these pistol grips actually, even though Magpul is starting to become the new Tapco. They work very good. It feels perfect for me. Let's see. Now there are 3 countries that made Krinkovs as you know it, or Suchkas, or whatever cool guy hipster name they go by today. We'll just call them Krinks. Bulgaria, or Russia, of course, Bulgaria, and Yugoslavia, which is now known as Serbia. Now, the Krink that we all know of is identified by the folding hinge and, gas block integrated front sight. You get my drift with the short barrel. Well, it was originally in the 5.45 AK-74. Now, three countries made them, and at least in the 7.62 version. And this happens to be my favorite, the M92, and there are several reasons why. The M92 has a 10 point something inch barrel, I think 10.25 inch barrel, or 10.5 I've seen also written. But anyway, as a 10 inch barrel, and the other 2 countries that made them had 8-inch barrels. This was also the only underfolder of the 3 countries that made them. Usually they have side folding stocks, so it was a little bit different. You know, it was more old fashioned, I guess, which makes it cool. I like the longer barrel and underfolding stock. I like underfolding stocks, even though you can't do as much with them, like shooting from weird positions and stuff, as a fixed stock. I do know that, but they also store up outstandingly, and they have things that fixed and side folding stocks can't do as well. So yeah, the Yugoslavian M92 I think was the most badass of all the fucking Krinks. Now I do prefer the 7.62 over the 5.45 in such a short package, and I own 2 5.45 rifles as of around September, October 2016. I have an SLR 104 on the way and an Arsenal 5.45 with a 20-inch long ass barrel. I just like the 7.62, and Mikhail Kalashnikov would also agree with me that the 7.62 is a badass fucking caliber. But there's also a time and place for a 5.45. But the recoil is very nice with a 5.45. But I just am gonna go with this. I just like it because the velocity is almost the same out of the 5.45s with those short ass barrels. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. It does not have a chrome lined barrel. Now 5.56 Yugoslavian models of Kalashnikovs do have chrome lined barrels. So there are actually Yugo rifles with chrome barrels. Supposedly this is not chrome lined. This is some kind of steel. Let's see, the barrel is nice and thick. It reminded me of like a Vepr barrel stub. Let's see, the trigger's outstanding. And usually these are about $400 something to about $550. And I'd say next to the Veprs, I would have to say the Veprs and the Yugos and Arsenals are probably the nicest AKs on the market. I was looking at, they had Wassers for $750, whereas Veprs are $699 right now. So somehow the Wassers are becoming this warp speed rifle, and they are damn good rifles. Don't get me wrong, but to me, the next to the MP5 submachine gun, this is probably the best top tier close quarters combat weapon in the world. You know, unless you have a warp speed submachine gun, but for the money, I'd say, depending on a mission, you know, I would probably opt for this or an MP5 if I could choose any gun to shoot, you know, within 200 meters. I'd probably go for this if I needed a little bit of rifle range, say something around 200 yards. I've outshot a guy with a 30-30 when I first got this at about 300 yards, give or take. I think it was actually maybe 260 yards, 270. So it can be done. You can nail shit at 300 something yards with this rifle. It'll be hard, but you would not want to go against an AR-15 at range. Close quarters combat would be fine, and even going against an AR at about 200 yards would be doable. But let's say you're in the like mountains of Afghanistan or something, and you know, you're shooting off a mountain at guys with 5.56 rifles. This would not be the gun you would want to use. This is more like the SWAT team kicks in your door and you just want to get a bunch of rounds on target and get the fuck out of there. Or it's a good you know, say there's a shit, it's a fan warlord that you want to take out, and you have like 5 other guys and you're gonna beat their door in. This is a rifle that would work for assaulting an objective. Let's see, should I make a part 3? Nah, fuck that. It goes good with the Glock 19. Look at that. It just goes together. And this is my everyday carry Red October edition Smith & Wesson knife. And don't forget the cool guy hat operator. And don't forget the beard oil. I'm just playing. No, seriously, I was reading something about one of the gun bloggers talking about 30 minutes about beard oil and how they fix their beards before getting on camera. I thought that was funny. Now, thank God the weather's starting to change. I got my Halloween shit out. And anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. Eventually, I want to SBR this. I might get one more and SBR one of them. This would probably be it. And have one to give to my kids or just to have it around in case parts for these never come back. But I like this rifle. I'd say this and the M70 AB2 are some of my favorite guns I own. So definitely a keeper. I will never sell this. Definitely SBR worthy, and definitely top tier close quarters combat weapon next to the MP5. Thanks for listening. I've rambled on a lot, but happy fall, guys. Thank God the summer's over.